Coming up on Sports Sunday, a dramatic victory for the Verde plus a wild ending to UT Baseball's weekend on the West Coast. But hey, it's March. You know where we're tipping off tonight. Not only is Bijan the first-round pick from UT since 2015, he's the first offensive player drafted in the first round since Vince Young. Welcome back to New Orleans. When Jonathan Brooks tore his ACL against TCU earlier this season, it was a gut punch to everyone. Just about a year later, Tom Herman's Texas staff went all in on Ewers. Ewers' commitment to Texas then forced Milroe to flip to Alabama. On either side here, we have freshman Quinn Ewers and sophomore Quinn Ewers. And the difference between these two guys goes far beyond just the mullet and the beard. Well, coming up next in sports, we are live from the Moody Center for the Spurs return to Austin. More on the matchup that everyone will be watching tonight. Happy to welcome in now my man David Hughes, the mind behind the mustard, one of Bijan Robinson's best NIL deals. I got the Bijan Robinson mustard mascot here, the official Dijon of Bijan. How often when you're just cruising around town do you just hear, Stu? Does that ever happen?
It does. I hear it a fair amount.
Arch Manning is the most high-profile backup quarterback in football. So when his first pass of the spring game is a 75-yard bomb, expect Longhorn Nation to react accordingly. Coaches and players can't play along with this side of it, but the rest of us can look ahead to potential second-round matchups, and this is a potential juicy one. Deep in the heart of the New Orleans Garden District.
For Newman football, look, we're not here without the Mannings. I mean, they really are the pillar of everything.
The Manning family's influence is on full display at the Isidore Newman School, a small private school with an enrollment of roughly 1,200 kids.
All the boys obviously went here. Archie didn't, but we're thankful back in the early 80s he made the decision to send his sons here.
Nelson Stewart grew up with Arch's dad Cooper and uncles Peyton and Eli. Now in his 18th season as Newman's head football coach, Stewart's had a front row seat to watch the development of the latest Manning prodigy.
Every throw has been documented. We started him as a freshman. That really wasn't, that wasn't my goal. I went in and I kind of snuck him in the spring game, and he was, 14, 15 years old. His first throw went 50, and he checked to a fade right through down, and I was like, oh, damn it, and then his next throw was a touchdown too, and he exploded on the scene.
What followed was one of the most high-profile recruitments in college football history. A little more than a year after Arch left for Texas, he's back home in New Orleans this week. The Longhorns one win from the national title game. Arch one snap from the spotlight.
He's just focused on what he's doing, getting better, earning it, and I think that's really his way, the Manning way of doing it. Nothing is ever given to you. You're going to, work hard.
That work ethic was in full effect growing up at Newman, yet Stewart and others speak even more about the person than the player.
I remember one day, and I always tell the story because I think it's really neat. It was in June, and my oldest, and my daughter, has autism. She's special needs. He came back from his visit to Texas, and it was her school. She went to a new school called St. Therese Academy. They were moving campuses, and Arch led a group of, I'm going to say it was 20 kids out of 50 that, 100-degree heat, moved these lockers, went through. I remember texting Sark a picture, and he called me like 5 minutes later. He's like, that's why I love it, and him and Will both. That's kind of how they were. And when the stuff nobody's watching.
The latest chapter in the Manning football story has only just begun. But a trip home to the Sugar Bowl in Arch's freshman season? Yeah, that's especially sweet.
It's special. It's win-win. And now that, in fact, he's one play away, it gets me a little nervous, but he's ready.
With the Longhorns in New Orleans, Jeff Barker, CBS Austin Sports.
I still get butterflies before every game.
Josh Soleil is soaking up every moment of this season.
I was just trying to take it all in. I was trying to make sure that I heard the national anthem. I said my prayer before the game. I dapped up every single one of my teammates, the coaches.
Nothing taken for granted, not even another walk to the batter's box.
Now batting your right fielder, number 12, Josh Soleil.
It's something that I never thought I would get back to.
That's because the Express outfielder was once out of pro baseball for 7 years.
At the time, I had an issue, but I didn't think I had an issue.
The Tampa Bay Rays drafted Soleil in the first round of the 2010 Major League Draft. Over the next 5 years, Soleil was suspended 3 times and eventually released. He moved home to Seattle, and his battle with addiction was far from over.
There was a time period there where my addiction or addictions and my behaviors led me to be homeless for close to 2 years. It was a very difficult time.
If that wasn't rock bottom, then this moment was.
The heaviest moment that I remember was I was sitting in a jail cell. My 3.5-year-old son called me on the phone, along with my girlfriend, his mother, and he was asking when I would come home and why I'm not home. Right then and there, it was like I have to make some sort of change.
When Soleil returned home to his son Liam, he committed to his sobriety. Baseball was the furthest thing from his mind. Then he got back in the cage.
My swing started feeling like a swing again. And they were like, hey, you should think about making a comeback.
For nearly 2 years after that, Soleil committed to the comeback. Last year, opportunity finally came knocking. Not with an MLB organization, though. Independent league ball with the Gastonia Honey Hunters.
I started the season 0 for 15, and I was like, I don't know if I made the right decision here.
But eventually, it all clicked again.
And a swing and a line drive to right center.
Soleil led the Atlantic League with 34 home runs, enough to earn the attention of the Texas Rangers, and in January, a minor league deal.
I'm extremely grateful for it. To think about the people that I have in my life today compared to who I chose to associate with back in 2016, I mean, it's night and day.
Dell Diamond is usually where you can find Soleil these days, back on the path he started on. Coincidentally, the highlight of his season so far happened mere miles from his home in Seattle, a grand slam in a win against Tacoma.
Holy smokes! His second home run. He has 7 RBIs.
His family right there to see his first career AAA home run.
Remember our handshake? Boom, boom.
Now just one step from the big leagues, Soleil suits up every day, hoping to get that call and achieve his dream, but also knowing his purpose is much bigger.
I hope that while I'm doing this, that somebody that may have similar afflictions, similar problems, if you will, that may not have thought that they could talk to somebody about what's going on, or they're too scared of the repercussions of their actions, might be able to open up and say, hey, I got an issue and I need to either try and get ahead of this or I need to stop doing what I'm doing.
That is why Josh Soleil is soaking up every second of his second chance.
Up, on the berm and gone. Josh Soleil.
In Round Rock, Jeff Barker, CBS Austin Sports.